Good morning, and welcome. I am also recording a podcast this morning. Super quickly here, very efficient. Going to stick to my notes because I have a lot to say, and I want to value your time because this is a time we can never buy back. That is really critical to remind ourselves of. Like, where are we investing our time, our focus, our energy? Who are we giving it away to? And is it worth it? Are we getting a return on intention? Are we getting a return on our time investment, right? So today we're going to be talking about trust. Trust is everything. And yet without it, nothing is possible. Well, think about it. Your relationships, they're founded on trust and communication. Trust with yourself, like to even engage in a relationship, to take the promotion, to apply for the job, to start the business, to get pregnant and have a child, to say yes to the person who asks to marry you. Like, it takes a lot of trust, right? And so we're going to talk today about trust and how it's everything, and yet without it, nothing is possible. And why we don't trust ourselves. Like, I think when we can get clear on like, why aren't I trusting myself to do the thing? Or I used to trust myself to do this and now I'm not. Like, what's really going on in the subconscious mind? What's really going on, so that you can be noticing what you're noticing and then take aligned action to change that, right? So look at high performers. I was thinking about this on my walk this morning. Elon Musk. He often exhibits strong self-trust, right? He is a great example of this because when you look at him, he has a lot of success, and I guarantee he has some quote unquote opportunities of growth that other people would have probably called like failure. Look at Edison when he developed the light bulb. It took almost a gazillion times, I think hundreds and hundreds of times, for him to figure out the light bulb. But he trusts that the next time that he tried it was going to be different. And the next time he's going to try it is going to be different. He didn't let that failure of the first or 10th or 20th or 50th time stop him, right? So when you think about who you are and what you desire and why you desire more, whether it's fulfillment in business and life, but you're struggling because of what? Really ask yourself, why are you struggling to experience what you desire? Especially when you know other people are experiencing what you desire, right? It will boil down to courage, confidence, clarity, and self-trust. Everybody loves to talk about confidence. Everybody loves to talk about courage. I do too. I'm not guilty of it because I love it and I'm good at it and I help my clients break through on it. But the self-trust part, nobody really talks about, because I think a lot of people are also maybe afraid to admit maybe they still don't trust themselves on some level to do some of the things that they desire to do, right? And so there's several reasons, and today we're going to talk about 3. So when we talk about these reasons, the first one is the most evident and the most obvious, right? Is the fear of failure. Many people struggle to trust themselves because they're afraid to fail again or for the first time. They're afraid of the consequences. There's consequence to all of our action, right? There's a consequence to all of our decisions that we make. And majority of the time, we like the consequence. That's why we keep doing the things that we do. This is why we have habits and patterns and behaviors that create certainty and predictability. Now, what happens when people fear the failure is they worry that they will make a decision and it's not going to turn out well, or it's not going to turn out how they think because of the negative impact that's possible. Well, if there's a negative impact that's possible, there's also a positive impact that's possible. And this is in both business and life, right? Well, if I do this thing over here in work, how's it going to affect my personal life? Or if I do this thing in my personal life, how's it going to affect my business life? Especially if you are a business owner, especially if you are a brand of your business. I'm speaking very loudly here to my online service providers. So this fear of failure can lead to what? Self-doubt, lack of trust, right? In making difficult decisions. This is why I am a decision mastery mentor. I help people master their decision-making skills because we make decisions all day, every day, some on autopilot, some with intention and consciousness, and we get results from our decisions. And we either love the results or we don't. And then we feel a certain way or we don't, or we create new beliefs, limiting or not, or we don't, right? From those results. So when you find yourself in a place where it's difficult to take the risk, make the important decisions with confidence, what I'm promising you is showing up from that as a result is the big D called delay. And that delay blocks more dreams, more desires than anything. This delay is a result of what? Fear, doubt, which results in pretty much zero trust in yourself. It limits yourself from allowing to choose and change. If you allow it to, again, these are things we can choose to change if we decide to. It's being aware and noticing what you're noticing, acknowledging it and being like, do I like this? Do I want this result, or do I want something different? So again, what is fear really? Fear is just false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real, made up mostly probably from our mind, which is our biggest block when we think about fear. Our minds are meaning-making machines, and it loves certainty. So if we make something appear real, and we have evidence of it that it could happen that way, because oh, look, it happened to this person, it happened to this person, it happened to this person, right? It'd be like, I'm never going to drive a car because that person got in an accident yesterday. Really? That's such a big, obvious limiting belief, because there's a gazillion people on the road today, tomorrow, last week that have been driving and that have not been in an accident, right? So our minds are meaning-making machines that love certainty because it feels safe and predictable, and what's predictable can be planned for. And this is why our minds were designed to keep us safe, fight, flight, freeze, right? And in all reality, a lot of things we experience in life, or we desire to experience in life, we don't need to have fight, flight, freeze ready to go, right? The risk is actually not as bad as we think if we really learn how to flip this script. So if you find yourself falling victim to being delayed by fear, use my freedom flip formula. I call it the freedom flip formula, or the freedom prompt is what it was called before the freedom flip formula. I'm making it free to the public this Friday, the 27th of October. So whenever you're listening to this, it's 2023. It will be free on my stand.store/Jacqueline Mac coaching. And if you want access to it sooner, just DM me the word flip on Instagram or on LinkedIn or Freedom, and I will send that right over. It is the key to unlock this from delaying you any further. So again, if you find yourself falling victim to delay by fear, use this freedom flip formula. It is one prompt that you can invest 1 minute to 20 minutes to, and it will unlock this for you. I've been using this in my coaching practice for over 20 years, and it's the one thing I use consistently along with the AAA method. They go hand in hand and really create a circumstance for you to actually be free from the things that are holding you back and have the freedom to do the things, the confidence and the clarity to do what you deserve and you desire. So again, go to @Jacqueline Mac coaching, or DM me the word flip or freedom, and I will get that over to you. Now, number 2 is past mistakes. Past mistakes. How many of you, me included, have allowed past mistakes, past failures to define us, right? And to also erode our self-trust, right? Think of some like little kids that are really confident, and they go out and they try things and they do things, and they're not afraid of failure. My youngest is this way. I love her free spirit. I love her. I call her Honey Badger. She's like not afraid to make a mistake. And she really sees it as an opportunity to grow. And this was something that was instilled in her at such a young age without much influence from me. And now that I have the tools to also influence it, it's like, whew. And it's eye-opening for my oldest, who is already a recovering perfectionist, right? Who really doesn't want to make a mistake, right? So again, I remind myself, I remind my clients, I remind my children that you are not your past. And as hard as it may be for some, when you truly honor and release, don't regret. This is an honor and release and forgiveness with gratitude that, again, you're not that experience. You're not the past. This was something that was really eye-opening in my mid-20s. I was laid off with a very generous severance package from an amazing company that I thought was my end all be all. I allowed myself to be identified as that role in that title of my job description because it felt good. It fit me. It was me. It was the I am. And I realized I gave all my power away to that title the day they were like, we're letting you go. We're selling the company. Everybody's eventually going except for probably 2 or 3 people, even the founders. The business was being sold to a big Johnson & Johnson, right? And so when I held on to that as a failure of a status of, oh, wow, like, where's my worth? well, they don't value me. I must have messed up, or that why would they be letting me go? This all became a limiting belief and pattern for a few months, right? As I was grieving through the loss of the experience that I desired. I desired and thought I'd be there till the day I died, to be very transparent. And now hindsight's 2020. I look back and like, thank God that happened. It gave me the freedom to free myself what was holding me back from something bigger and greater, and the freedom to do the things I truly did love more, which was more coaching, not high ticket sales and corporate health and wellness, of a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, high performing position of helping high performers become better high performers, which ultimately leads to burnout if you don't understand human potential and possibility and subconscious mind, right? So dialing this back into past mistakes, that rocked my freaking world. But until I honored and released the weight of that experience, I carried some self-doubt. And I was a confident person, but I carried that self-doubt, and it eroded at my self-trust. Who am I to do this? Who am I to apply for this? Who am I to now go off and do my own thing? Ugh, right? So we use that freedom flip formula, and boom, you can instantly, within seconds, minutes, change this. So again, it's time to release the weight. It's time to allow yourself to jump back into the fact that you can allow that weight and past experience to be that block and that barrier from what you desire, or you can flip it and say, okay, that has happened. I honor it. I release it. I'm grateful for that opportunity that expanded me, that grew me, that I can now understand and empathize other people who have been laid off or handed severance packages or been fired or whatever at a whole nother level. And remember, those who do not trust themselves allow the past to prevent them from taking risk again, getting married again, trying to have another child again, when they're, building trust for another friendship or a business partner, or, there's so many things that this comes into play with, right? Not just roles and titles of job descriptions, but it's everything in life. It really is. It's that, to me, when I talk to anybody, it's your decision-making mastery, and it's your trust and communication, not just with yourself, but with others. That will define the quality of your life, as well as the quality of the questions that you're asking yourself every day. So those who do not trust themselves allow the past to prevent them from taking that risk, not just in the present moment, but also in the future. Because now is the only time I can really take action. I can't take action in the past. It's already happened. Can't take action in the future. It's not here yet, right? So we can plan all we want to do the thing, but what are we doing right now in the present moment to take that action to make sure that thing happens now, sooner than later, or for sure in the unforeseeable future? And we're certain of it because we are showing up now in the confidence and the self-trust that's required, right? So this leads me to looking at, again, Elon Musk again. He trusts himself. And there's times he probably felt like he didn't trust himself. But what did he do? He probably flipped the script. And he looked back at his past successes and his past mistakes. He also was able to earn trust, still to this day, earn trust of others very quickly. Very quickly. It takes a very confident person who trusts themselves deeply on a bigger knowing level here and their highest self, and not just here logically, to gain that trust from others very quickly. And there's actually a great book on this. It's called The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. I highly recommend it. Great book. Which leads me to the third one here, which is self. We've already talked about self-trust. So this is the whole topic of self-trust, right? Is external validation. And the reason I probably intuitively said self, because you really don't need external validation. Recovering people pleasers, where are you at? That's me. I still love to have the external validation. It's fun to hear, but I don't need it. It's not required. But when we don't trust ourselves, we think it is required. People often seek the external validation and approval from others rather than trusting themselves, especially in the online business space, especially with coaches, consultants, mentors. This is where I've seen this for over the past decade. And I'm like, what is going on in this industry, right? And this might ruffle some feathers, but the truth must be heard that at the end of the day, seeking approval from others rather than trusting yourself, again, trusting your own instincts and not making anything mean anything than what you know is true for you and your highest self, and for what your purpose is in this world, your what and your why, and who are you to show up to exemplify that, right? When you are seeking the external validation, you're actually living on the opinion of others, the feedback of others, which is filtered. It's all filtered because they have their own meaning-making mechanisms about you and about that thing you did. And it could be an amazing accolade. Don't get me wrong. Like most of the time it's that feedback, that validation of great job. Wow, you really rocked it when you were on stage yesterday, or in that podcast episode, or in that course, or that live event, or whatever it might be, that problem solving or that coaching session. Great. But at the end of the day, are you relying on that to be the fuel for your self-trust and your confidence and your courage? Because if so, you're giving your power away. Listen to that again. You're giving your power away. When individuals prioritize that external validation over your own beliefs, over your own values, you're going to struggle again with the decision mastery of things. You're going to struggle because when you're not hearing the external validation, you don't trust yourself in the decisions that you're making that actually will fuel your truest desires and what you want to experience, your aspirations. So here's a quick test if you want to experience or experiment and experience with this, with validation and approval from others especially. Ask yourself, do you fully trust yourself to experience blank? What is something right now that you want to experience and you haven't yet, or you have before, but it's been a while and you're like, why can't I do this? What's the secret strategy? I can tell you your operating system for trust, courage, confidence, and clarity needs an update before you do the shiny strategy or thing over here. And that's what I do well with my clients before going and jumping into the new shiny strategy, because all strategies work, right? So what's that one thing that you want to fully trust yourself and experience for the first time or again? And ask yourself, do I fully trust myself? Close your eyes, place your hand on your heart space. Listen to the answer from your heart space, not your head space, because your head space is limited. It's going to tell you all the reasons why you don't trust yourself that are false, right? So if it's a yes, why? Why do you trust yourself? And why haven't you done the damn thing yet? Or why haven't you taken that action? Why haven't you called that person? Why haven't you put yourself out there? Why? Keep asking yourself why until you're like, okay, sick and tired of doing this. Let's just take that aligned action. And if it's a no, why not? Why don't you trust yourself? And then ask yourself, what else? What else is coming up? What else is coming up? And you can journal about it if you want. You can just sit and ask yourself about it. And then if you haven't experienced this, it's going to shine a big old spotlight, right? Right where you're giving all your power away to. If you do this exercise effectively, you will see exactly where you're giving all your power away to. Is it external validation? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it limiting beliefs? Is it your past mistakes? Is it somebody else? Is it a circumstance or a situation that you are requiring yourself to have first before you can experience the other thing? Are you being your own block? And again, it goes back to understanding that you have the freedom. You have the freedom to not be stuck. Stuck is a perception. If you want to be stuck less, if you catch yourself saying, I'm stuck, be aware. Notice what you're noticing. Use the freedom flip formula. It will unstick that stickiness. So stuck isn't part of your vocabulary anymore. It literally works that quickly, but it has to break this pattern first. And you can only break a pattern when you're aware and you're noticing what you're noticing. So self-trust goes right up there with courage, with clarity, when it comes to experiencing more fulfillment in business and life, period. And it's important to confront these challenges. It's really important to be aware, notice what you're noticing. And again, when you reframe and flip these failures as learning opportunities, you're developing that growth mindset. You're building that mental muscle. You're building that operating system. What fires together, wires together. You're using the growth words and language. And again, I have a free printout on that too. How to do that word swap, print it, cut it up, stick it on your refrigerator, stick it in your mirror, stick it in your car, stick it in your purse, stick it on your kid's mirror. It's a game changer. Our words are 500 times more powerful than our thoughts, and we know how powerful our thoughts are. So practice this. Increase your confidence will happen like this. When you're increasing your trust in yourself, your confidence grows too. So it's like it's a double win. And then everybody else around you gets a benefit as well. Your personal life, your business life. And it first starts with calculated small risks, right? We don't want to jump off the deep end before we learn how to swim. We don't want to run before we crawl, before we walk. That causes injury. But if you're ready to do that, that injury just is bigger growth, big expansions. But again, there's consequences. So I'm not telling you to be reckless. I'm telling you to trust and practice the little trust first. And when you trust yourself in the process, the laws like gravity, you cannot see them, but they are there, that are governing your existence, are a big part of this too. I didn't get into that today. I talked about the 3 things that are very obvious, that our human self can see. But when you really go through the Rise Up to Experience It All experience, I go through these laws. And I'm actually doing a big Black Friday opportunity with this, never been done before. So stick around. I'm going to start talking about it next week. If you want access sooner, let me know. Just DM me Black Friday and I'll give you all the details. But when you're living this way, from a radical intentional self-expansion to unleash your unlimited potential, that's what Rise Up stands for. You're living in absolute freedom from any circumstance, any situation, any limiting belief from delaying you. Anything that you start to lack self-trust in, you notice it right away and you take care of it right away. And you have the tools in your toolbox to do so. True freedom from what's holding you back, to experience real freedom from next level fulfillment, next level wealth, next level time freedom, money freedom in both business and life. This is the result of living the yes and life by design. That's what all of this really boils down to. And if you'd like to know more, my DMs are open. If you want to have a breakthrough around any of this, my DMs are always open. LinkedIn and Instagram is the best place to find me. I give away 3 to 5, first come, first serve, activate and create laser coaching calls. These are coaching calls. These are 30 to 45 minutes, laser coaching, guaranteed a breakthrough. Gift yourself the opportunity. See what it feels like to surround yourself with the supportive mentor or coach that can actually activate that clarity in you, activate that courage, that self-trust, that confidence, but also activate that next level self-trust required for your fullest potential and all the possibilities that you desire to be fully experienced now. I'm going to send you out with so much love. Until next time, bye for now, friends.